as we go into the classical age. We have 6 villagers on food though. What really changes here? What actually changes? You grab 2 favor off the temple, he wants to build that headquarter. What changes in that build order from last time because he had less villagers? We had 6 villagers on wood last time and 4 villagers on gold. What changes here? All of the food villagers changes. He doesn't take any villagers off the gold or the wood because that's what he needs. He takes villagers off the food. These villagers should probably start moving over. Actually no, because he's going through areas, if he was going through a different god path he wouldn't, but he's going through areas and the Cyclops do such good damage that he's going to continue getting the favour of another Cyclops later in the game. Basically that's why he continues to gather favour. So again, no economy upgrades. We have to note he does send villagers forward to a forward hunt spot. That's important. What you can do yourself is when you're advancing, you can build forward to that forward hunt spot, and then you can simply slow down 2 stables and go from there. Cyclops does come out now, and Theseus is out. He's also going to build that headquarter as soon as he can afford it. It's probably going to be coming around about the 5-minute mark, as well as some of these cavalry. Also have to note he's going to be casting that pestilence. He's going to be using this in order to halt any production from the Rhino's plague. Now, let's just quickly talk about this. Why it's not exactly 100% efficient. What Magyar should have done was simply waited till the 5-minute mark, because that's when these buildings got up, right? Building this at the using this at the 5-minute mark when they're both up would have prevented every single unit from being delayed the maximum amount of time. Maybe Magyar was a little bit over eager. He thought that he might lose that scout and not be able to pull it off. So he's waiting and used it a bit preemptively. Lost a couple of seconds on it, but that's okay. Perhaps he was using it to delay up Promethean. I don't actually know, but really 5-minute mark would be the best way to delay as much as possible. Again, no, he has got archery range, he has got stables. Furthermore, what's he done? What's he done with these villagers, right? What's he done with these villagers as a standard, as grid? He sent them over to the wood as soon as he advanced because he's got this Toxotos coming in. Why does he have 8 instead of 7? Because he doesn't have a hand axe. He can't support the Toxo production plus houses plus whatever other wood-based things he can get without having 8 villagers on wood. So he's got 8 villagers because he doesn't have a hand axe. Now he's sending villagers onto gold. Remember how we were aiming for that 7-7-7 thing? It's a bit different here. It's going to be 6-8. Lots of gold afterwards, but again we're aiming for that sort of economic equalization before we start going into extra economy. So again he probably could be fixing these villages up. What you should do with your villages is have them in a better spot, more across a little bit, and basically sort of like that. Again, he's got no upgrades except for hunting dogs, obviously because he advanced so fast. At a point in this game where he can afford to get those upgrades, he should get them. But I believe I've seen this game before and it doesn't. So what we're going to note again, sending villagers over to the gold, continuing to AQ these until he can. He's going to be very aggressive, losing units. So we can note that that's what's going to happen. We're just going to be aggressive, we're going to use units, and we're going to try and get into his position and try and win like that. 9 villagers on gold, we're sending in more villagers on the gold. At this point in time, at the 7-minute mark, we have 126 food, 160 wood. To me, and we also have 85 supplies, so we don't really need to build another house for a little bit. So to me, I can say, okay, I have all of these resources, but I don't have that much gold. I can afford pickaxe. I should buy pickaxe. Magyar does not buy pickaxe. So what we're going to say to ourselves is when we play this style, we ourselves, when we can afford to get pickaxe, we're going to get it. This means also a couple of things. When we get pickaxe, we're going to have more gold, so we don't actually have to send this many villagers to gold. We're going to take how many villagers Magyar sends to gold and take some off because of pickaxe, because we can have that extra 10%, 15%, whatever the bonus is. I think it looks like he sends 13 villagers onto the gold before he starts sending villagers to food. I believe. Might be 14, might be 13, 14. Okay. With all of these villagers on the gold, what can we say? We can say, oh, look, we don't have much food now. Look at our food's low, right? What if we bought pickaxe and we sent, instead of sending 14 villagers to gold, we sent 11 villagers to gold. That's 3 villagers we could have sent to food. That's the food getting a bit higher. That's going to be a better economy for us. what we're going to say to ourselves is we're going to say, okay, gold, too much gold, get pickaxe, more food, going to be better for us, economically. Okay, again, it's constantly building these units. And from the last game, what we have to note is, well, so when does he build the town centre? It's getting to that 9-minute mark. We've got all this supply. We're going to get that town centre. Should we get that town centre? Well, yeah, but we're going to be losing a lot of units here. So our supply is not going to continually getting bigger as we lose units. So what we can opt to do, instead of being aggressive, if we get to this position and we can't be aggressive through this position, right? What we can choose to do is say, okay, well, I'm going to go back to that original game plan against that set play where I got that town centre at the 9-minute 30 mark. I have the resources I don't have the supply though, right? At this point, when I wanted to build that town centre, I don't have the supply to do so, so I have to keep on building units to stay safe. However, if I were to have used those units in a way which would keep them alive and continuously do damage, I would get that town centre around about now. Because I would have that ability to stop building these cavalry. I would have the gold and the wood and the food in order to build this town centre, and I would be in a good spot to continue going along like that. At this point in the game, it's important to note that you can't now say, this is how I'm going to do every single type of game, because stuff happens and build orders and templates get messed up, so we need to start thinking and analytically understanding why he's doing what he's doing. He took 7 villages off the gold to start getting food. These villages are going to start on the food. Why did he do that? Well, he had 300 gold and he wasn't able to use it in any way, shape or form. He built this active archery range to build more toxitose, but he couldn't really use that gold. So he wants to get more food, basically. And he's really thinking, okay, what can I do? Again, at this point, after he starts gathering all this food, which is quite idle for quite some time, not quite Magyar-esque, so it's normally quite on top of that. I've got all this food now, but my wood's going to start going low because I need to get farms. So maybe I should start thinking, okay, maybe I'm going to need to get hand axe. So maybe at 10 minutes into the game, after you get the pickaxe, after you've got all these buildings back onto the food, thinking, okay, got to get that hand axe out, get that hand axe, start pumping out farms, start getting more gold again, right? Always be watching recorded games and trying to understand why things are doing what they are doing. Again, we're sitting at this 115 supply now, but we don't have the gold to get that town centre. Should we stop building units? Well, we're being aggressive here. We're trying to do as much damage as possible with our units. So, like, yes, if you're not being aggressive and you took a step back off and you're comfortable with the position you're in, being a little bit ahead, you're going to take that town centre and get more ahead, and that's what you should do. In fact, a thing that I heard Artosis say, he's a StarCraft 2 commentator all the time, is when you're ahead, get more ahead. Instead of losing all them units, you had 115 supply for that time, you stopped building units, get a town centre, get more economy happening, get more ahead, right? That's what you should be doing. So I think at this point in the game, there's really little we can gather more. Like, the juicy parts of this game economically have been exhausted. You can't really gather more from this because there's so much going wrong. You have to start, when you're watching recorded games, you have to say, okay, yes, they're really top tier level players, but what went wrong in this game? Why isn't it quite as efficient as it is? So I think that is all I can really cover for this recorded game. So I don't believe I have any other recorded games to cover for this episode. So what we're going to do is we're going to quit, and we're just going to have this quick, brief chat about what we learn when we watch recorded games and what we should do when we're trying to learn the style. So the first thing is we're looking for standards, things which pop up in every single game. Just going to take a quick drink. Things which pop up in every single game. In both of those games we saw hunting dogs taken, and we saw 4 villagers go to food and then villagers go to wood. In both of those games. That's a standard, right? The difference was they did different strategies and they started veering off. But the similar thing which happened was they went to wood and then they went to gold and then went back to food. So it's sort of like triangle thing, you go around, it's sort of a template which you can aim to achieve when playing and doing standards. Playing standards and just trying to work out what's going on. When he hit classical age, what happened in both of those games was he started sending villagers to wood straight away. And why did he do this? It was to get the poultry out. Now, as a different race, actually no, every single race costs wood as Greek, so it doesn't actually matter. When you hit that classical age, as every single Greek god, you want to start pumping villagers to wood until you feel like you have enough. For Magyar, it was 7 when he had hand axe, it was 8 when he didn't have hand axe. Just little bits of things there, but say you have 2 archery rangers. Maybe what you need is 10 if you have hand axe, and maybe 12 or 13 if you don't have hand axe. But that's something you can gather from watching Royal Quarter games and seeing different styles and whatnot. He then started sending villagers over to gold. Why? Because he needed gold for the Hippicon. Anyhow, I hope some of you guys, whoever watches this, learn something about it. Hopefully you can even rewatch it if you miss stuff. Also, when you watch these things, which I do, I'll be doing them quite regularly, mostly on my Sunday, which is most of your Saturdays. Bring out the notepad, take notes, see what you can do, see what you can improve and whatnot. Now that is all I have for today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, learned something. And yeah, my name is Harold to the Boy. Come to Voogly, give me a chat, tell me if you enjoyed the cast, all that other things, and I'll try and make it better every single time I do it. So thank you for watching.